Hi, my name is Rachel Hernandez, and I'm here doing our video interview. And will you give us your name, your age, and where you're from?
Okay, yeah, my name is Izaac Hernandez. I am from, first of all, I'm 34 years old and I'm from Mejia, Texas, originally.
Okay, and where is it that you're leading, and what do you lead?
Okay, so at the moment, I am helping become an associate pastor position. For a lack of better terms, it's still up in the air. But at a church called Stone Church here in Mejia, Texas.
At what age did you accept Jesus Christ, and how was your experience in that?
The specific time that I remember, I was about 7 years old, and we were at a some type of ministry event at Christ for the Nations, and my brother made me go up to the altar, and I was like, "What are we doing?" And he was like, just shut up, we're gonna pray. I was like, okay. And then, but it was for the first time that I actually understood what I was praying, what I was saying. It was a accepting Jesus in my heart. But at the time I was like about 7, 8 years old, and I've grown up around church. But I was like, that was the first time I like seriously thought about what I was saying, and I was like, yeah, there's something to this.
Okay. And at what age did you begin the ministry that you're in?
So, right now, my position with Stone Church actually focuses a lot more with helping out and leading in the areas of worship and media, be it recorded videos or social media stuff that we have to do. And honestly, it is a calling, but I want to say I didn't really start working in it until I was like in my mid to late 20s.
Okay. All right. And how did you know it was a calling from God at that time?
I think I always knew. I grew up in a very, very artistic family. But with that being said, it was something that was always around me, and I always was drawn to, and naturally was talented in. And I said, you know what? If God gave me these talents, it's for a reason. And growing up with that belief, I structured my life afterwards to really focus on what the gifts God gave me, and I've known ever since.
Okay. What's been the easy part about it in the ministry that you're in?
The easy part is that I do get to participate in doing what I love to do. Everything from even making media, like I'm very much into the creative aspect of making videos or coming up with creative ways to grab the attention of our congregation or those that are not in the congregation, and we want to invite them in. At the same time, when it's on the worship side or the musical side, it was one of my first loves, was playing music, and it's so easy to get to do what I love.
Okay. And what would you say has been the hardest part, or your struggles, challenges?
Probably at first, the toughest challenge was getting out of the mindset that this is not a job, this is not a chore, but it is a ministry. Understanding that it's the most serious thing that I'm going to do in my life, outside of raising a family. Probably the most important thing that I was put on this earth to do, other than preach the gospel. It's my ministry, like especially in the area of worship and media.
Okay. Have you had to go through changes through the process of when you started to where you're at now?
Oh yeah. So I grew up, like I said, in a very artistic family, and the entire family was playing music, and so, like I said, I naturally took to it, but it was an amazing day one. I had to learn my instrument, and then I had to start as I guess an understudy. The way that I learned, I had to look behind somebody else, either playing drums or guitar or whatever it was I was learning at the time, and yeah, I was just sitting there learning seeing what they did, and then I had to go practice at home. And first, I had to become a part of the worship team. And then from then on, it grew to where I had to become one of probably the MC. I was not the MC, the MD. Sorry, the music director. And then from then on to help lead the worship, not necessarily always singing, but being the one that's in charge of where we want to take the worship team to. It's evolved over time, and yes, from being someone who was just following and doing exactly what I was told, to being the one that's telling everybody else, what to do. It was a tremendous change.
And is there a difference in being a musician and being a worshiper?
Yes. There's millions of musicians around the world, and anybody can be a musician. But to be a worshiper, that's not we always say worship is not a style of music or genre. It's a lifestyle. And in order to properly have a good ministry, you have to have people who are aligned with your vision and who are taking it as seriously as we are in the leadership positions. Like I said, this is the most serious thing that I'm going to do in my entire life other than raising a family. So with that in mind, I practice as hard as I can. I memorize what I need to memorize, and who deserves excellence but God. And I expect my team to do the same thing.
What do you look for in a team when you're looking for a volunteer or a person that's going to minister with you? What do you look for in them?
I've been very blessed to have been part of many different teams. Throughout my life, I've lived all over the place, and I've done my best to pick up really good habits and things that I love, and also see what I would not want in my own team. A lot of different churches, but there's one church where the worship leader, his name was John Coggins. He's a great friend of mine, but he told me, like, you know what? Sometimes availability is way more important than ability. He goes, you have to have people who are willing to make it important, willing to take the time, and that's dedicated to this. Like I said, it's a ministry. It's not, we don't get to go up every Sunday and just play, or it's not like, hey, I got some friends that I play with at church. No. We're there for a purpose. And when we approach it with that in mind, we make time for practice. We make time to be there on time to rehearse. We make time to do that. And I've played and gone to so many churches where they're like, oh, you know what? The guy's not getting here till 10 o'clock. Service starts at 10:30 or 10:05 actually. Availability, or people being willing to be available, is one of the first things I look for. Outside of the obvious answer of being someone who's a member of the church or their relationship with Christ, that's a given. That needs to be a prerequisite. But once that's met, the first thing I look for is someone who's willing to make the time to be there versus the talent.
Okay. Presence. How do they say presence over performance?
Yeah. That's also a big key. When I was in college, I studied at Oral Roberts University, and I was very blessed to be part of some amazing teams in worship. And I had some phenomenal teachers. But there was one friend of mine, his name is Israel Sierra, really good teacher at the time, and he was telling us, you know what, we have some great musicians, but I don't care about that. There's so many bands here that are probably all better than us, but we're getting heavily requested. And he was like, because the first thing that we do is we make sure that we pray together, and we make sure that, hey, when we're getting ready for an event to go play, we're fasting, we're praying, we're preparing for what God is going to bring. We were one of the only teams who put more emphasis on ushering the presence of God versus playing music. And so it's noticeable. The room changes. And like I said, another leader that I've had over the years, his name is Pastor Chuck Martin. and I love what he says. He has this saying that he says, "We are we're the thermostat, not the thermometer. We set the presence. We set the mood in the room. We don't reflect, what other people are giving us. And in order for us to put the proper presence, the proper mood in the room, we have to be in alignment. Everybody has to be in alignment and say, you know what, presence is key."
That's a key. Okay, well, thank you, Isaac, for your time and for this interview. And thank you very much. This was my video interview with Izaac Hernandez.